Hello, today I'm going to be talking about inverted thinking and how this way of thinking can be used for porn addiction recovery. Now, don't get me wrong, what we teach inside of the Beyond Compulsion Academy is a little bit like this, but a lot more advanced. And so what I'm going to share isn't going to magically solve your porn addiction right away, but these kind of reframes can be quite useful. So hopefully you can undergo some mental shifts and get a little bit closer to having a bit of peace of mind and freedom in your life. So inverted thinking, what is it? Well, essentially what we can do is we can look at certain problems and ways of thinking and see, okay, well, what's like the inverted way of thinking around that? What's like the opposite of it? And when it comes to the addictive part of the mind, there's a lot of junky thinking. So when you have the compulsive desire, when you actually have the urge, you want to watch porn, there's a lot of bullshit that's going on in the mind. Thoughts like, oh, I'll just do it once, it won't really be that bad. It's normal, everyone does it. Oh, I don't actually want to watch porn, or this doesn't count, it's just on Instagram, and it's a lot of bullshit basically. What we need to do is learn how to put the rational mind in control in those specific moments. Our clients inside of the Beyond Compulsion Academy do that through the training and a very specific script which is designed by me and Mary so that they actually in that moment know exactly what to do and can rewire their neural pathways. Now for this video though, what I'll be doing is just sharing a few examples of inverted thinking, or what we would call in Beyond Compulsion Academy is really just junky thinking corrections and the truth really, because when you have junky thoughts, you've got like irrational thoughts going on and they feel uncomfortable, which is why having these desires feels uncomfortable. So what we need to do is correct the thinking. So I'll give you a few examples. Now, a lot of people, they believe they don't want to watch porn, but they actually don't want to bang their head against the wall. They don't want to punch themselves in the face. There's a lot of things that people don't want to do, but if you are doing something, chances are on some level you want to do it. So what we have to do is correct that thought pattern. Well, you do want to watch porn, otherwise you wouldn't be doing it. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you, doesn't mean that there's some particular fetish that you're interested in. It's just in that moment you want to watch it. And often the reason people want to watch porn is because they're going through withdrawal. They have these addictive neural pathways. There can be the tolerance cycle and their brain gets wired to want to watch porn. Now, that isn't anyone's fault. It's just we live in a pretty messed up society, right? And there's a very bad level of understanding of how to actually solve this problem. And a lot of the information makes the issue even worse. Because let's think about it, the reason I say it makes the issue worse is because like 99.9% of people are on some level trying to get people away from the reality that they even want to watch porn, so they never even get into that neural pathway of compulsive desire. We've talked about this in a few of our videos recently. People talk about, okay, you've got to get rid of that desire by like smelling a rotten egg. Oh, dunk your head in in ice cold water. Just go to the gym all day. Like, the lengths that people will go to try avoid having the desire is honestly absurd. It's so crazy. And so what we do is we completely flip it on its head entirely, acknowledge the desire without any shame or judgment around it in that specific moment. And that's how we actually get started with our clients with the script. But there's other things as well. People will say, oh, I don't want to scroll on social media. I don't want to eat that chocolate bar. Oh, I'm on a diet. I don't really want to, eat too much food. But like, the truth is, like, you probably do want to eat a lot of food. You probably do want to eat that chocolate bar. You probably do want to scroll on social media, and you've got to start shifting the thinking and see that there's many things you want to do. What you don't want is the consequences of choosing to engage in that behaviour. There's a big difference there. Now, a few more examples. People will tell themselves, oh, I can't watch porn, I can't eat that chocolate bar, I can't scroll on social media. Again, it's all bullshit. We've got to invert that thinking and see the truth, which is, well, I can watch porn, I can scroll on social media, I can eat that chocolate bar. And this is one of the reasons why I feel so totally free, and like dealing with pornography is just no longer really an issue in my mind. Like, it's not a problem I'm looking to solve any longer. If I have the desire, I know I can watch porn, and yeah, it's fine. I just choose to think it through and make a rational choice in that moment. Now I use that in that moment, I do that through the script. Like, I use the script to actually make that choice, and I use the whole education and basically, like, it's like I've like upgraded my mind. It's like I've completely changed my mindset through the education and the repetition of the script, and my brain's basically rewired to the point where I can think rationally like almost all the time. And when I'm not thinking rationally, I'll just use the script to start thinking rationally again, because the script is prepared by the rational mind, not the addicted part of the mind. But the point here is, look, you can invert the way you think about things so that you can feel closer to the truth. If you're telling yourself you can't watch porn, you're going to just be living in denial. It's what everyone else is kind of doing as well, and it just doesn't work. And that's why people who use blockers end up relapsing after a few months, because they've like convinced themselves they can't watch porn, which is bullshit. So then they end up doing some weird, crazy stuff to try to get around the blockers and getting connected to random people's internet and using different devices. Or, you know, you have people putting phones in lockers nowadays and like locking themselves out of their phone. And I used to do shit like that. And it's just so based in helplessness, so based in the idea that you can't watch porn, which is a false idea, and which is why it doesn't work, because we're like so far away from the truth and rationality. So when you shift the thinking, you realize, like, yeah, obviously I can watch porn. Like, that's always going to be an option for you. You know, I've got a phone in my pocket right now. I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to, but if I wanted, I could watch porn right now. Like, it literally would take me about 10 seconds to watch some porn. I'm not going to do that. It'd be pretty stupid. Be kind of ironic as well, given that I run a business focused on helping people stop watching porn. But the point is, that's always going to be an option for me. We teach that more in the Facts 1 and Fact 2 of our program. If you do want to just get started with those first two facts and start to rewire your neural pathways using the repetition of Fact 1 and Fact 2, which is kind of what I've talked about so far, to be fair, then yeah, I'll leave a link below and you can actually buy Fact 1 and Fact 2, give that a go. And then obviously, if you want to learn more, you can join the full Beyond Compulsion Academy and get the full 5-fact script. Now, let me talk a little bit more about inversion thinking. Common one, you know, I'll just do it once, it won't hurt, it doesn't really matter, I'll start again tomorrow, something like that. Again, we can create this thinking. Well, the truth is, obviously, just watching it once will hurt, because it's watching it once, which leads to the desire to engage again, second order consequences. That's the whole problem. Like, the problem you have isn't that you're like lonely or bored in life or you have no meaning or purpose. The problem you have in life is that when you've wired your brain to like crave internet porn, you have very strong desires, and that's very, very uncomfortable. And there is going to be discomfort, and being out of control, not knowing how to deal with those desires is like a serious, serious problem. But every time you engage, you know, you're wiring your brain to crave it more. Like, you're strengthening those addicted neural pathways. You're staying stuck in the addiction. You're giving all the power to the addicted part of the mind. And so watching it once will hurt. Like, all the people on the internet are going to say, oh, it's fine, you know, relapse is part of recovery. You'll just learn something and then go again. It's all bullshit. Like, honestly, the amount of bullshit on the internet just kind of annoys me at this point, because I listened to it all and it kept me stuck in an addiction for 10 years. And that was so unnecessary. Like, I didn't need to be in that addiction. If I'd have found Mary Portis 10 years ago, I would have had 10 years more of my life free from the biggest problem in my life. It's actually crazy. So yeah, watching it once will hurt, but you have to understand, look, that is a choice. You can choose that. It's just as very severe consequences if that's the choice you go for. Another one, yeah, as I said earlier, you know, I can start again tomorrow. Well, yeah, the truth is you can continue to stay stopped right now. Like, that's the alternative. I mean, technically it is true you could start again tomorrow, but why even think into the future? And this is the thing you can do as well, and this is what the script is very specifically designed to do, is get you back into the right now, like in the present moment, because very common addicted thinking, like junky thoughts, are going to be based in the future on some level, or in the past. Oh, why did I look at that thing, 2 days ago on Instagram? Or, oh, how am I going to, deal with the desire when I'm back in my flat alone and there's no one in and I've got nothing to do? So much junky thinking is based in the past or in the future. The script is specifically designed to get you into the moment, focused on your choice right here, right now. And that's where your power is. You don't have power in the past, you don't have power in the future, because we have no control over the past or the future. So what we want to do instead is focus on what we can control right now at this moment. Really critical. I think this is why a lot of people love like meditation for addiction recovery, but it only works temporarily because obviously the actual thought patterns aren't changed, and we've got to be a lot more sort of aggressive with the thought patterns and proactive. It's not that we want to get into an internal battle, it's just that we want to start to actually really rewire the thinking by, starting to think in a more rational way. rather than kind of thinking in these irrational ways and just like passively observing them through meditation, which isn't actually going to change anything. All right, a little bit more. Addicted thinking, you might think, oh, this doesn't matter that much. Well, doesn't it? Yeah, let's think about that one a little bit more. It doesn't matter that much if you watch porn. Well, how much does it matter? Okay, so how's it impacting your relationships? How's it impacting your social life? How's it impacting your finances? How's it impacting your family? How's it impacting your self-esteem? How's it impacting your confidence? How long have you been stuck in this problem? It does matter a lot. So anyone who tells you, oh, it doesn't matter that much if I just watch porn, it's bullshit. Like when you do a deep dive into all of that and you really start to consider how your life has been influenced by your porn addiction, you will see that this is probably going to be the number one problem in your life. And if you don't think it's your number one problem in your life right now, well, it probably is, but you just aren't really aware of the consequences of it yet. And honestly, from my experience, 10 years in a porn addiction, I can tell you, hand on heart, this was the biggest issue in my life. Now I've solved it, like everything is so much easier. What it's like is, like one of those balls of like knots where it's like all tied up and like tangled around and it's like a complete mess. That was my mind when I was in the porn addiction. Now it's like one clear string, like just literally one line of string. Like everything is just so clear and like easily organized in my mind. It's weird. Like I was honestly talking about this to Mary last night, the one who taught me this method. And I was just like, it's weird how clear everything is now. It's honestly just crazy. So it does matter a lot, and it probably is the biggest issue in your life. Everyone does it. All right, let's invert that thinking. What's the truth? Well, this is my life, and it doesn't matter what others do, because you're the one who pays the consequences. We've worked with some clients who will even say to us like, I feel really bad because I relapsed recently. Don't want to let you guys down. So yeah, not everyone who does our methods succeeds right away. I didn't, by the way. There is quite a few mindset shifts you've got to go through, and the repetition is critical. But yeah, we work with some clients who have said that before, and what me and Mary always say is like, well, look, really sorry to hear that. Like, it must be difficult to be going through this right now, but we're not the one who pays the consequences. It is you who pays the consequences. Which sounds brutal, but you've got to do it for yourself. Like, if you're trying to start watching porn for someone else, you're going to get yourself into deprivation thinking. Chances are you're going to start thinking, I can't watch porn because it's going to hurt my wife, I can't watch porn because, it's impacting my relationship with my children. Truth is, you can watch porn, and yeah, maybe it will impact your relationship with your wife. Maybe it will impact your relationship with your children, but you can engage in the behaviour. So really important to do all of this for yourself. So another one, final one. It isn't a big deal. Well, it is a big deal. And hopefully I've got this across. That's why we get our clients to write a remember letter, because a very common junkie thought is basically minimizing the whole problem and trying to like downplay how bad it actually is. But when you write a remember letter and you really reflect on how much this problem has impacted your life, you'll likely see it's a massive deal. And it's probably the biggest one in your life. Unfortunately, it's very normalized nowadays. A lot of people think, it's fine. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. But that's just because they're used to it, and they don't see that there's the possibility of stopping this for good and feeling good about doing so. Now, if you like, read the Remember Letter booklet. I'll leave a link to that in the description. Thank you for listening. Hopefully this can help you a little bit, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.